Three, two. Welcome everybody to another episode of G&G Podcast. I am Gato.
And I am Gabe.
And today we are honored to have Michael Van Wagoner as our guest, special guest today. Hello, Michael.
What's up? How's it going?
Yeah, it's going
Good,
great.
it's good.
It's going really good. So, fun fact, I just found out a few minutes ago that you and Gabe hadn't really known each other. This is the first time you're
first
technically
time
hanging out, huh?
This is the first time I'm in awe.
Should I get your autograph now or later?
Yeah.
No, I think it's the opposite. I want your autograph.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
Just do an exchange. I'll take a picture.
There we go.
No, but it's really funny because Gabe, when did you and I meet? 2014, right?
2014, yeah. I'd say 2014.
Yeah, 2014. And when did I meet you, Michael? 2017.
Mm-hmm. It was about then.
So I've known you guys for
paths.
like over 4 years at least, and yeah, you guys have never crossed paths. That is really interesting.
Yeah, and we hang out pretty often, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like we do. Well, Gabe got married, and
I think that's
he
when I fell
disappeared.
off the face of the earth for a while.
So
Yeah.
we're
We're all married now. That makes sense that we don't see each other that often.
This is why we have to do it over webcam, right? No other reason.
Yep.
It's because we're married. We don't have time to travel.
No,
Uh-huh.
can't waste gas.
We're also lazy. I'm also wearing pajama pants, so, you know.
Oh, lucky.
I gotta save money for diapers. Can't spend it on gas.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not quite there yet.
Gas is like $4 a gallon right now.
Do you remember I Am Legend when the gas prices were like
I saw
$4.20
that.
or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, that's crazy expensive. And now it's like, oh, yeah.
Like they
We're
made
lucky
that
if it goes,
prediction. Yeah.
Down to like 3. Oh, and with the vaccines.
Did you ever see that?
I Am Legend. I feel like I Am Legend was a little too close to reality. It's kind of scary. Like, oh, this could actually happen, you know? Most horror movies have like such a far off premise that like it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Did you ever see
this
the
It's pretty
that
close.
Easter egg? Apparently, because that movie came out before Batman vs Superman, and apparently there's like a poster, a billboard in the movie
Oh,
that
yeah.
promotes Batman v Superman. Some of that. Don't know if it's true or not.
No,
That's crazy.
I remember that. I remember seeing the screenshot of it. I think it was a video, actually. And yeah, you see the Batman versus Superman. It's pretty cool. Maybe the writer was onto something there. Okay, so let's talk about Michael for a moment, because this whole podcast is around. It's about you. So
Oh,
tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about you.
my name is Michael Van Wagoner. I am a local music producer, artist, songwriter. I've been in the scene. I mean, I pretty much grew up in Utah, but I've been like performing in the local scene for about a year and a half now. I put out my first single back in 2020. And I'm full-time doing music. I produce for clients, so I have a studio in my house. And people come over and I help them record their songs. So,
Nice.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Wait, what were we gonna say, Gabe?
I mean, you have like the whole closet set up with the window on it.
I do. Yeah, I mean, my laptop's kind of like I'm plugged into everything right now. Otherwise, I'd take you around and show you. But yeah, basically, I have this big walk-in closet, and I built a bunch of acoustic panels out of insulation and plywood, and it's just plastered all over the closet for soundproofing. It's ghetto, but you know it gets the job done. And I've worked in multi-million-dollar studios before. And, you know, my closet is not as good. But I mean, like, as far as soundproofing goes, it does a pretty good job. And, like, it doesn't make that much big of a difference to be recording in, like, a huge, super expensive studio or kind of a DIY like do-it-yourself at home type of studio.
I'm sure it's
Right,
better
so-
than whatever we did back in the day. My
Well-
cousin and I did music.
Oh, you did music with your cousin?
Yeah.
Did you actually have an album or a
Nah.
song?
We made a couple songs. It was like with Acid. You remember that? Acid loops.
Like the drug? Like
The real
We did
music
some
scene.
acid, wrote some songs.
But I forgot. It was a music maker, Acid, and so he made music, and then we rapped to it, and then we used the closet and put a blanket over ourselves, and that worked pretty
Wow.
well.
Well, you know what? There's so many artists that are blowing up right now. Like, I don't know if you guys know Lauv. He has that song, I Like Me Better When I'm
Oh, yeah,
With
yeah.
You. Yeah, he's like a bedroom producer, so he makes all of it at his like studio at home. Like a bunch of guys, even like Charlie Puth. I know he's got a ton of money to build a fancy studio in his house, but there's a lot of DIY producer artists that are blowing up right now.
I mean,
It's kind of crazy how democratized audio has become.
Yeah. I mean, if it works, I mean, why would you spend more money with something that's like simple DIY? So,
Right.
I mean, how many songs do you have out right now?
I think I just put out my 10th release.
That's the one that just came out, what, a week ago?
Yeah, on Friday.
Okay, that's awesome. And then all of these songs, since your first single in 2020, you've recorded all of them in your closet studio?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I produced them at home, just in a closet, and
That's like the beauty of music, though. It's like it doesn't really matter where you do it. They can't tell. No one can tell you did it in the closet. Maybe. You know?
Yeah.
There's no
I mean,
visual
that's
cue.
right, the software is getting so
Yeah.
good that you can make it sound pretty professional just with very little.
I mean, just looking at technology in general, like on our phones, like when you look at TikToks and you have like the deep fakes and stuff like that, or the filters, not
Oh,
even a
yeah.
deep fake, but just the filters. And just to think
Mhm.
that a few years ago we didn't have that technology, or it cost like millions of dollars to do that, and now it's just like everybody can do it.
Everybody has it on their phone
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't need any like technical skill to use it. It's
Yeah.
pretty wild.
But it's awesome because it gives you that opportunity to actually be creative. Like, it's the beauty of all of this, really.
It is. And, I think especially with the TikTok era that we're in right now, there's something to having a non-professional video sometimes that feels more like authentic.
Mm-hmm.
I think people really crave authenticity right now because anybody can create a really professional, like corporate, I guess, looking content.
Yeah.
And so especially with Gen Z, I feel like they're looking for something that feels very raw and very authentic, and it allows artists to focus on writing great songs and making like this genuine content as opposed to having to pay thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars to go to these studios to make music.
It's crazy because
So
like
it's pretty cool.
it feels like YouTube is old now. I remember when YouTube was new, and then you had all these raw videos, back in the day, raw videos
Mhm.
that were not like edited and very nice. And then I guess it became corporate, and then now you have like really nice videos and nice lighting, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And now TikTok is like the new thing that's raw, and I could predict that might eventually become corporatized. I don't know, but
Yeah.
you have like
No, I wonder about that. Because, like, I remember back when YouTube was getting big, I was probably like 13 or 14. And there were just so many dumb, hilarious videos on YouTube. And I would just spend hours, like, going down the rabbit hole. And when I downloaded TikTok, I was kind of late to TikTok. I started like a year ago. But I just remember the first time getting on TikTok, it felt very much like how YouTube did when I was a kid. It's just like funny video after funny video. I scrolled for like 4 hours.
Yeah, that's happened to me too. I mean, I tried to get into the YouTube part of it a little too late, and it was just the wrong time. But I remember those videos, like the rawness of it, like people just recording themselves in their house. And like I get it that it still happens, but I mean, you look at people now, like I mean, even me, I'm still kind of ghetto, but I have lights. I have, you have LED lights
Yeah.
in your room, but TikTok still has that feel of I'm just recording something real quick with my phone.
A lot of people will make a TikTok in their car, just like holding their phone.
Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, do you ever record like songs like that get popular? Like out of all your songs, do you feel like the simpler ones are better, or do you think this is completely separate?
I don't know. I definitely know that like with general content, it's so weird. It's like backwards, but the things that I've spent the least amount of time on that were kind of spontaneous, the things where I just saw an opportunity and I'm like, oh, I'm going to make this piece of content. I'm going to shoot a video or something. Those have always done better than things that I've like meticulously planned out and like spent a bunch of time on, which is frustrating sometimes, but it's really interesting how that works.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I've had my share of YouTubes that got big. I spent like probably 10 minutes, 15. Like, it was like a remix of this video of this girl.
Gabe, didn't you post a video of the wheelchair guy that jumped, like that gets pushed off a bridge, and then you edit the rope out or something like that?
It was like a girl in a wheelchair. I guess it's a service that they attached a bungee cord to the wheelchair and then they throw you off a bridge, like the real thing. But then I edited it out. Got super big, and then now you had clones, and then people were trying to copy my video, and then now the recent comments on it is TikTok brought me here.
Really? Yep. So someone grabbed your video
amazing.
and it's now on TikTok.
Yep. Remember,
and so it went viral, but you never even got like credit. Nope. Well, I guess if they find your original YouTube video, then I guess that's
kind of credit.
I mean, it doesn't really. Yeah.
What was it? I remember you texted me, Gato. It was like it showed up on something else first. Didn't you tell me? You were like, remember. I saw this on gift service. Or...
it was either on 9gag.
9gag.
It might have been 9gag because I feel like it was a long time ago. I don't do that. I mean, I still do, but I'm more of a Redditor than 9gagger. But yeah, I did see it there. So
but it's so weird.
Have you ever seen yourself in a different platform, Michael, that you didn't know about? Like, did somebody use your sound or anything like that? Because you are on TikTok as well, right? You've posted stuff on TikTok?
Yeah, I did TikTok for a while. I was making a video every day. But yeah, it was doing really well. Like it grew super fast because there's just so much virality potential. But then I stopped for like a week, and then I came back and tried to start making TikToks again, and like my engagement was just like abysmal all of a sudden. And so I actually like started over on TikTok. I kind of deleted all my content, and I decided when I'm actually able to commit to like making a video every single day, that's when I'll start those back up. But for now, I'm just kind of focusing on Instagram and Facebook.
Dang.
Well, that makes sense. Do you do like a lot of reels and stuff like that on Instagram? I guess it's connected to Facebook as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I do reels, IGTV, just regular posts. Yeah.
Every day.
I have one. Question for you, Michael. What's your opinion on Kanye's Donda instrument stem player? Did you ever see that thing?
No, the instrument stem player.
So it's like a puck. It looks like a little puck. And I guess it supposedly separates vocals and beats all in one thing. And so it's like pretty much an instrument in your hand that you can remix music.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. I don't know if I can.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar. I don't keep up. Unfortunately, I don't keep up with music as much as I used to, or at least No, maybe that's a misconception because I tend to stick to my old music from the 90s. And
Hey, the 90s had some good stuff.
they did. They really did. Well, I stick to anything from the 1940s all the way to the 1990s, and then 2000s and 2010s. I feel like there's too much hip hop and rap, and that was never me. Like, I'm more of a rock person, so it made it really hard for me to get into it. But I used to be the guy that was always late to the trend, especially with music too. Like, I used to hate music, like new music, until it was like phasing out,
until
and
it was
like,
already popular.
Yeah, and then like once it's like phasing out and something else new is coming in, I'll be like, all right, yeah, that song's actually kind of good. So
like, it's 2021 and you're like, guys, have you ever heard of Blink 182? These guys rock.
Yeah, man, they just had a concert this year, didn't they? Or last year, maybe. That's awesome. Wait, are you pulling up a clip, Gabe?
Oh, you want me to pull
Are you
it?
able to?
Okay, let me.
Oh, you don't. I don't know. I just thought maybe you were looking for it, but
I can show you a picture.
When did you start playing music? And like, and with that question, like when you're thinking back to like when you started playing music, like when did you want to, and when did you realize that you wanted to do that as more than a hobby?
Yeah, that's a good question. I grew up singing. I come from a pretty musical family, and so like both my mom and my dad, all my siblings sang and play an instrument, and so I kind of learned from them. My mom taught piano lessons when I was a kid, and so she taught me piano, and I was like the worst student ever. I would never practice. I would always complain and like give her a hard time when she'd try to make me practice. But then when I was about 14, I picked up the guitar, and it just came so much easier to me. And maybe it's because I had that piano bass. But yeah, guitar just came so easy, and I really fell in love with writing songs when I was about 14.
Wow, so you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, definitely not professionally at that point.
Right.
But I spent so many days, like I'd come home after school, and I had this really cheap microphone that me and my friend bought together, and I had like my MP3 player that I would put a metronome click track on and like listen, and I would sing into this microphone and make songs.
Nice.
They sounded so bad. But I would try to sell them to my friends in the hallway at school.
Oh, you handed out like CDs,
wow,
cassettes?
Look at you.
Yeah.
Or they USBs?
Yeah. No, this was CDs. I'm old, so I mean USBs I guess were a thing, but
Is that a thing now?
it was a lot cheaper
when
to make
people
CDs.
send music, hand out USBs, or do they just email it now?
I sent Spotify links, man.
Oh,
Yeah, I feel like people just text
That's
you a
true.
link to streaming services now, but yeah, I would sell CDs at school, and I wanted to be a rock star ever since I was a kid, but in my heart I never actually believed that. You know what I mean? It was like, I want to be an astronaut, or like I want to be, you know, this like I want to be the best doctor in the world, and for me it was like I want to be a rock star, but like I didn't know that that's actually what I was going to do as a career, if that makes sense.
I mean, that's pretty cool that you did. I mean, I wanted to be a robotics engineer at one point. That didn't happen. And then I wanted to be in TV, and that didn't happen. And then ended up doing software out of the blue.
Hey, software is cool.
Yeah.
Hey, software is amazing. You're always going to have a job.
Yeah. Pretty. That is true.
Well, I started by wanting to be a director, like a movie director, and then I was like, maybe I'll just do short films. Maybe I'll just work on the production part of it, and I edit them. Well, not even movies. I edit just videos in general. Yeah, I edit YouTube videos, not just the podcasts and my own videos. I edit for someone else. So it's nowhere near what I thought I wanted to be as a kid, but it's definitely... It's good. It's rewarding, and I love it, and I am where I want to be. So,
is that where you want to take it, Michael? Eventually professional, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So that's, I think it's important that when we have dreams of like doing something, we kind of have an open mind. Like, I didn't realize that you could make a living and be successful in music without being like Justin Bieber status, super famous, household name. Um, but into my like early 20s, I was in a few different bands and just played locally, but nothing too serious. Um, but I ran into a lot of people who were making a good living from making music, even though nobody had ever heard of them. And that's when I realized, like, you know what? I could do something like that. I mean, of course, I would love to have like mainstream success. But if I'm able to work in the music industry, doing anything, honestly, and pay my bills, that's the dream for me.
I'd say that.
So,
How did you? So you said that you compose for other artists and stuff like that, right?
I do.
So
Yeah.
how did you get into that? Like when was the first time that you had that opportunity and you took it?
So, when I was, let's see, how old was I? I think I was like 24. I had an opportunity to move out to Las Vegas and be an intern for Imagine Dragons and the Killers. And so I kind of worked with their management team as an intern and kind of learned the ins and outs of the industry. And I met a couple people there who were managers. Um, they offered for me to stay on, but I decided I needed to be like on the creative side of music and not like the managerial, like business side. So when my internship ended, I moved back to Utah, and a lot of those managers and people that I had met in Vegas connected me with local artists here in Utah. So somebody I met named Gus Chauncey, he set me up with Madeline Page, who's a local artist here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I wrote a bunch of songs for her, and it kind of slowly branched out. She has like a little bit of clout in the local scene. And so
Yeah, that
when
name
I would
is
reach out
familiar.
to other people, yeah, she was on The Voice several years
Oh.
ago. And so that's kind of like where she made a name for
Oh,
herself.
that's probably why.
Um,
Maybe I've seen her on there.
You watched The
but
Voice?
that,
Brittany does, and I ain't ashamed of it.
yeah, I think she got pretty far along too. She was like on Usher's team.
Wow.
But yeah, that was kind of like the foot in the door, basically. Once I had worked with her, then I was able to then reach out to other artists and say, hey, I worked with Madeline Page. Like,
And that's so
I'm a
awesome.
local songwriter. I'd love to work with you.
All it takes
So-
is that
And,
one good one.
Yeah,
Right?
it's just like the one person
Yeah.
you work with, and then like that starts to slowly snowball. Hopefully, right? Because you've worked for you've composed for other people, and like are you still doing it even today?
I am. I'm probably doing a little bit less of it today. So most of my income comes from producing for other artists and like recording their music. Songwriters in the music industry kind of get shafted a little bit because everybody's willing to pay their producer. Like, I mean, there's a huge range, right? But people are willing to drop $1,500 on somebody to produce their song, but they're not willing to pay the songwriter who wrote the song besides in like
Really? Yeah.
back end royalties. And so back in 2020, I wrote, I think it was like over 80 songs for other local artists.
Wow.
And like a lot of the songs I wrote for them, they didn't end up putting out, or if they did, they didn't get that many streams on those songs anyway. And so I basically didn't get paid for
A lot
thousands
of
of hours of work. Yeah.
Dang,
Oh,
that
yeah.
stinks, man.
But then, yeah, as I grew into production a little bit more, it's been a lot better for me. And I still, production and songwriting, the lines are blurred, right? Because if you hear like a big EDM style track with a drop, like people are listening for the drop and they're listening for the production almost more than they're listening for the lyrics and melody, right?
Guilty of that.
And so,
Yeah.
and so I still consider when I'm producing people's songs, I still think of it as songwriting for them. but because the focus is on recording the music for them, it's worked out a lot better for me financially than when I just marketed myself as a straight songwriter.
Do you see a change happening where eventually songwriters or producers will get the credit they deserve?
I don't know. There's been a couple of things that have been passed in legislature lately. There's like the Music Modernization Act, which they passed, I think, last year or 2 years ago. And that's going to incrementally increase the number of royalties that songwriters get for songs. But honestly, the way that the music industry is moving is the traditional style of songwriter that kind of sits down with an acoustic guitar and a notebook and a pencil. That's kind of phasing out, and most people prefer to work with a songwriter who also produces. So, like when I write with people nowadays, usually they come into my studio and will like write the lyrics and the melody as I'm making the track. And so by the end of the session, they have a demo to take home that has like instruments, and it has like a scratch recording of their voice, and they much prefer that over like, hey, I wrote a song and here's a voice memo of it, you know?
Interesting.
So you can have multiple meetings with people then to create one song then. Like you can have like a version of the song and you're like, yeah, this is it. But then after listening to a couple times, like, actually, we're going to change this up, change that up. And like how
Yeah, definitely.
How much do you change a song before it's actually ready?
It depends on the artist, honestly. Some artists are really picky. I produced a song. I won't say any names, but I produced a song for client earlier this year, and man, I basically made 3 different songs for them, because I made the first version of the song and they were like, oh, we kind of want like this type of a style, and so I produced the track, and then they're like, this is cool, but it doesn't feel like us, let's go in this direction. And I basically like redid everything for them.
Did they end up using all
ended
3?
up making 3 versions. They ended up settling on the very last version of everything.
Good thing they weren't like scamming you, like making
yeah,
you
is there
write 3 songs.
is there yeah, but is there anything that can hold them oh wait, maybe I phrased that wrong. But like if they were to use like, let's say, the first version or a second version, but they switch up, like, let's say, the lyrics, but they keep the same song production, is there anything that you can do to say like, yo, like, this is my song? Or is it just kind of like you're screwed?
No, well, I guess it depends, really. In this case, I was producing. I helped write the song, and then I also produced the song.
Alright.
So in this case, they just used the final version, and they were really cool guys, and they compensated me for my time. But like, it was a very strenuous process of them like being very picky about the sounds that I chose. And so there was a ton of back and forth. Whereas sometimes I have a client, and the very first thing I send them, they're like, yo, this is it. And that makes my life easy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying
That's
to see
awesome.
the relation, because I guess video editing could be the same thing, where you send it to the client and they're like, I don't like the shot, or I don't like the pacing here, or I don't like the music is used here. So, I mean, we don't have ways to prevent them from, using a draft or whatever. And there was times when I've had to put watermarks on it just to say this is not final.
You're right.
I guess you could do that.
Maybe that's what I should start doing with my videos. I'm like, just put a big old watermark. Just be like, if you tell me it's okay, I'll send you the one video. But maybe you can. So that means you can do that with your songs then, where like every like 10 seconds you just say like, Michael Van Wagoner Productions.
Tell me to say.
Purchase your beats today.
Yeah. What do you have a productions company name or anything like that, or is it just you?
No, it's pretty low key. It's just me. So I just go by word of mouth.
You're kind of like a contractor in a sense. Like it goes job to job instead of like.
Yeah, definitely. It's like whoever wants to work with me. Honestly, my own original music that I put out, I'm not at the level where I'm getting millions of streams or anything. I think my top song right now has like 115,000 streams on Spotify, which isn't huge.
It's still good
So,
though. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
when it happened, I was stoked about it like at first, but that it doesn't pay that much money.
Yeah.
I mean, I do get a little bit, but like I probably invest more into putting out my own music than I get back. But people hear the music that I've made and then they're like, "Dang, this sounds really good. I want to go hire this guy to produce my song." So I almost see my original music as an advertisement for my production services in that sense. Just because that's how I get most of my clients. They're fans of my music, and so they want to work with me, and so they come to my studio.
I mean, I think that's pretty smart because it's technically. I mean, I know you're putting the work for it, but it does work like an ad, like a commercial.
Yeah.
For other people and say like, well, I do like the sound. Like, who did it? You know. Like I think it kind of works the same in. I mean, honestly, in all artistic jobs, because like when we look at directors or writers, we look for the director or the writer because we're like, I like the way they write things, I like the way they film things. Let's get this person to do this story.
Right. You don't go, okay, well, this person has this many years of experience, like a paper resume, right?
Yeah.
You see the art that they've created and go, wow, I want a piece of art that sounds or looks like what they just did, and so I'm going to hire them, you know? And so basically every piece of content, we as creatives, everything that we make, I mean, I hate to say the word advertisement because that's not why we're doing it, right? We're creating art for the sake of making art. But everything we put out basically is an ad because it's what draws people to hire us to create art for them.
It's the world we live in.
Yeah,
like,
there's
honestly,
the balance.
that's just how it is.
You have to find a balance in that sense.
It's funny because when I think of like what I want to do in the future, as far as like videography goes, I want to do commercials. But I don't want to do it because I'm trying to be like a greedy person or greedy in that sense. But it's more of like, if there's a product that I see value in, I want to make sure to put a little bit of a enhancement on it. When I think of the commercials that I want to do, I want to make them entertaining. So I want to I want to entertain a viewer, but I also want to show them why the product is actually good. But I'm very anti buying things that you don't need, if that makes sense. Like, like as an example, like when I worked in electronics at Costco, people come in and they're all like, I want the biggest, best TV that you got, you know, like 4K, 10K, whatever. And and I'm like, okay, well, where are you going to put the TV? Like, oh, it's just in my bedroom. Like, are you going to be watching movies? Do you have a sound system? No, I just want to watch, you know, Netflix here and there. I'm like, dude, you don't need the biggest and baddest TV out there. Like, this is all you need. You don't even need the biggest screen. You can go with this one and it'll fit okay.
Like, I want to watch my VHS tapes.
But like, I'm all for adapting the right product to the right person. And so in that sense, I like the idea of doing ads for the people that it's intended for.
Well, and you know, there needs to be more good advertisements out there. Like, I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but I feel like sometimes I'll see an ad that's just like terribly done, like it's not very clever, or it's really dry, or it's like trying too hard in a weird way. And I'm like, some boomer was paid like $10 million to make this advertisement when a creative like TikToker could have done the same thing for $100, but like made it like a more entertaining advertisement. And so there needs to be people that are making hilarious creative ads.
I think I saw a recent ad was like, it was like about COVID and everyone was like stuck inside, and then someone had like gum or something like that, and then they start dancing in the park. It was like the most randomest ad on YouTube, but I didn't skip it, and that was the key. It got my attention.
Yeah, That's a rare thing when you see an ad and it's so entertaining that you don't even care about what YouTube video you're going to watch.
Hold
You're
on.
Like, I want to watch
Hold
this
on.
ad.
This is a commercial. It's an ad about a virus that has to do with parties and gum.
Yeah, I remember when I saw it, I was watching YouTube videos with Brit, and then it just started playing, and we were just like, we were entranced. We were watching it for like, I think it was like a 2-minute ad. And then by the end, we just look at each other and we're like, what the heck was that? And we didn't even realize that we just watched the whole ad.
That's awesome.
Oh.
Okay, so Michael, next question for you. And this one, I mean, not that I like know all these questions already, but I'm genuinely curious. Because you have 10 songs that are out, but you've written a lot more songs.
So many,
for
yeah,
yourself,
hundreds.
right? So when do you start writing, or what inspires you to write? Do you draw from other artists to create your own sound, or do you believe it's all yours?
I definitely believe that everything is a remix. I don't believe in anything that's like 100% truly original. And that's in every field, right? Every scientist who ever discovers something, it's not like they invented all of the math that got them to arrive at that conclusion, right? They're like building on the top of all the scientists that came before them. Yeah, and so like musically, I definitely draw influence from so many places. And, you know, I feel like I take these influences and I make something unique and something beautiful that in a blend that hasn't been made before. But yeah, I'm definitely stealing ideas and getting inspiration from a lot of different places.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Just kidding. How long does
take him to prison?
How long does it take you to get a song ready?
It's different every time. I've had a couple songs where like I finish the entire thing in like a couple hours and it's like perfect when it first comes out. And then I have other songs where I have an idea that I get stuck on and I can't like quite articulate it the way I want to. I've had songs that I've sat on for like months that I like keep periodically revisiting until I can finally get it to where I'm happy with it.
And like these songs, like the lyrics, like when you're inspired to write them, like is it because of something that suddenly happens in your life, like, you know, like I don't know, like maybe someone was like super kind to you and then you're like, wow, he was super nice and his name was like perfect, I should write a song about this, and then you write a song about kindness, or is it more of like you're just thinking of things to write about?
You know, I won't say that never happens. I think when I was a younger songwriter, it definitely happened like that. Like when I was that 14-year-old kid with the acoustic guitar, it was definitely, oh, this girl just rejected me when I asked her out, and so I feel super sad, and I'm gonna like go be emo and write a song. But when it's my everyday job, right? I can't really wait for inspiration to come because I'm writing songs like every day, sometimes multiple times a day. I'll have sessions with different people that I'm writing for. And so, yeah, it's like I'm 27 and I feel like I've had a lot of life experiences. And I've also met a lot of diverse people who have been through a whole lot of stuff. And, you know, after writing hundreds, you know, maybe I can't give an exact number, but, you know, maybe even thousands of songs that I've written through the course of my lifetime. I just have gotten really good at, oh, this is the song topic. Okay, well, let's draw from these experiences that I've had or experiences from people that I know, and let's make it into a song. And I know that doesn't feel very artistic, and I hope that doesn't cheapen like the meaning of my music. But a lot of the time I'm able to tap into some like deep topics without being like emotionally triggered, or it wasn't that I was actually going through that exact thing that I wrote about, if that makes sense.
Maybe I could kind of relate with like video editing, because you do so many videos and then you know the exact way to edit something to make it time really well or make it a certain emotion. Maybe
Or capture a certain
right,
vibe.
you do slow motion to get that super emotional thing, or you do slow motion with some fast music. So I think my guess it's like the same thing with music, where I'm guessing because of how to compartmentalize certain emotions based on how you create the song, right?
Yeah. I think of somebody once gave me a really good analogy. See, and I hope this doesn't cheapen the art, because I know art is supposed to be this nebulous like concept that you can never grasp and comes so deep from the heart. And I do write from the heart. I mean, it's not like I don't care about what I'm writing, right? But when it's your everyday job, somebody once compared it to like being a plumber. Where you go from house to house, and maybe every house's layout is a little bit different, but you come in and you're basically like, okay, I know where the pipes go. I'm going to go like do this plumbing. Or like an electrician, like every house is different, but you're like, hey, I know where all the outlets are supposed to be. I'm going to go wire this house. And sometimes with the song, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you can still fix the pipes with love, and you can still fix the electricity with love, even though you know where all the parts are.
Right. And so with music, it's like, okay, we're writing a song. I have to write a song for this client, and it's about this topic. And okay, we need a verse, we need a hook, we need a bridge. And I'm just like putting parts together. And I feel like sometimes I'm a musical electrician, or I'm a musical plumber, where I'm coming into the song and I know how it should be structured, and so I make it that way, even if it like doesn't have to come from a place of like very deep vulnerability.
That makes sense. I mean, it's like acting. Like you have people cry about certain scenes, and it's not like they're crying for the actual situation. Maybe they're drawing from their own experiences, but it doesn't cheapen the scene or their acting because of that.
Yeah.
So
that the actor wasn't actually going through what the narrative is set up.
That's the point of the acting. Like, that makes sense. It's interesting because I was talking to one of my old friends, a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about music, and he was telling me about one of the things that him and his ex-wife now like really bonded on was like their love for music. So my friend's a drummer, and his range in music is very extensive. Like, he goes from older like Beatles songs to like 80s rock and roll, and I'm sure he enjoys a lot of the newer music. But when he listens to a song, he likes the technical aspect of the song, like the beats per minute, or the notes that it's hitting. Like, he looks more into that technical side of the song, whereas his ex-wife was more about like the feels of it. Like, this song makes me feel this way. It doesn't matter how it was written, what it's saying. It's more of like how I feel when I listen to the song. And so they both enjoy a song. They could even enjoy the same, like at the same level, but they're enjoying it for different reasons, and that's fine. I think it's cool to be able to separate yourself from that emotional aspect of it and go into the technical aspect of the song. And I think that's where you come in. You do a good job at that.
Yeah,
that you affect both
Thank
people.
You. I appreciate that. I hope so.
Yeah.
There's like I can totally relate, because there's some music that Brittany likes, and she's into the singer-songwriters, and then the music, it's okay. I'm more of like the EDM type, but then there's like remixes of her songs, and it's like, it's a good mix. She can enjoy the lyrics, and then I could enjoy the beat,
Yeah.
There's different things to listen to in each song.
I have found that I'm really interesting in the sense of I enjoy music for both things, but it depends on the song. And it's really interesting because there's a couple of U2 songs that I would listen here and there, and like I enjoyed the song. You know, I like the instruments, I like the beats and everything, but I never really listened to the lyrics. And that's something that is very true in general for me. Is like I'll listen to a song and I like it, but I have no idea what they're singing about. I don't know what they're saying. It's just like the catchy choruses I'll recognize, but that's it. But
Yeah.
one time my brother told me about this song by U2. It's what's it called now? I can't think of the song, but it's basically Bono is writing about his late father. So he's singing something to his dad who like passed away, and so I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like I never would have gotten that from the song. Oh, it's called Sometimes You Can't Make It on Your Own. So I listened to the song and I paid attention to all the words, and the song just hit different, and I bawled, dude. Like this was one of the few times that I actually like cried like hard from music, and like I related to it. Like I was able to blend both that technical aspect and the feeling aspect of the song, and it was a beautiful thing. So I've also gotten this appreciation for both things, like to be able to feel something but also be able to understand the dynamic of the harmonies, you know, the instruments and the singer, etc., etc. So
Yeah.
Same thing with me with Fix You. That's my all-time favorite song.
oh yeah, we talked about this.
Oh
And
yeah.
it
We did
was-
talk about
Love
it.
that song.
It's because it was good. Like I love the structure of the song where you have, you know, the lyrics that come in, and I didn't really know the lyrics at the time, and then you get to the ending where it's that really bombastic that bombastic instrumental, and the drums come in, and it's like really awesome. And I remember watching a fan music video that was using that song. It was awesome. And then it had an emotion attached to it because of that music video that I saw. And then I heard the reason behind the song, like the history of it. I guess it was Chris Martin's wife, or Gwyneth Paltrow at the time. Her father died, and that's when that song was made. And I was like, oh man, and it hits different for me because of that. Have you ever had do you have any songs like that for you, Michael?
Yeah, I actually so I was a missionary in the Philippines for 2 years, and it was an incredible experience. I lived in a very rural area of the Philippines that wasn't super developed. I learned a crazy language called Hiligaynon.
Wait, what part was this?
So I was in Bacolod,
Oh, wow. So where my dad was born.
and like, are you
Yeah.
for real?
Yeah.
What?
I know I don't
totally.
look
That's
Filipino.
crazy.
I totally just made that
Just-
connection too, and I was like, oh wait.
I know I don't look
Wait, in
Filipino,
Bacolod.
but my dad was born in Bacolod, and then I was born in Quezon City.
That's crazy. Do you speak any Tagalog?
This is the sad part. My family, we moved to New Zealand when I was 2, and they were afraid that
Oh,
we weren't
okay.
going to learn English, so they spoke to us in English. But I never got to, which is unfortunate.
Gotcha. But does your dad speak Hiligaynon
I'm
then?
pretty sure he does.
Or Ilonggo?
I think so. I know both my parents speak Tagalog, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, now you guys have to meet.
Yeah, right.
That's wild.
That means, have you had
What are the chances?
balut?
So actually, our mission rules were pretty strict, and
They couldn't let you have it.
yeah, the like president of the mission didn't want any Americans eating it.
Understandable.
But I tried plenty of other things that were out there, but Filipino food is super good. I mean, they have like balut and like some like off the wall stuff, but they also just have some amazing dishes. I don't know where I was going with this.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
You were talking about like you
Yeah.
were serving, and then you were in a rural
Yeah.
area.
So there was this 17-year-old kid who really wanted to be a missionary, and we let him follow us around like everywhere. And he was really charismatic. You know, he was a handsome kid, and like everybody loved him everywhere we went. And his name was JV, Jevy. And this was after I came home to the U.S. I still like kept in contact, like I FaceTimed them every once in a while. But he was preparing to go on a mission, which he wanted to do so bad. And while he was waiting for his assignment, he just had kidney failure in the middle of the night and passed away before they could get him to the hospital. And it was so unexpected because he was super healthy. So it was really tragic.
Yeah.
And so this was years ago. I mean, this was back in 2015. But it was hard for me to like accept that somebody who all he wanted to be was a missionary, and he was so excited about it and had helped us so much when I was a missionary there. And then to see him like basically pass away in the middle of the night right when he was getting ready to go, it was rough. So I have a song called Photograph that kind of talks about him and how he was taken too young. And so I do have a few songs where it really taps into something very specific that happened to me. And I think people pick up on that too. I've had a lot of people reach out about Photograph and say that it's touched them. And so there is something to those songs where there's a real story behind it that people can resonate with.
Yeah.
That's the goal, right? I mean, you want to inspire people and not only like make them feel good and make them dance or whatever, but like to inspire thought or like reflection on your own life or other people's lives. I think that's what.
Yeah.
That's when music becomes like really empowering, or even any sort of art, painting or even video, where it like makes you really.
Yeah. Good art has a story behind it.
Yes, it does.
Would you say?
Yeah.
I mean, over the years, I'm pretty sure your taste in music has changed. Would you say your
Definitely.
your music has changed because of that?
I think my taste is evolving, albeit I think I haven't been doing like official releases for very long. My first song was in April of 2020. And so it's been like a year and a half. I do think my sound has evolved, and my production skills definitely have gotten better over that time. And so I think the quality overall has gone up. But I think, although I feel like I take a diverse palette of influences, I think all of my music so far has been at least in the same package or the same like musical realm. I'm very into bedroom pop right now, which is like Lauv, Jeremy Zucker, Chelsea Cutler, Quinn 92. But growing up, it was all about punk rock, Blink 182, Dashboard Confessional, All American Rejects. And I still think there's influence that I took from my childhood that I put. I think there's, like 5% punk still in my sound of music that I'm making today.
That's good. Yeah,
That's great.
I always wondered about that. Yeah.
Have you heard of any of the songs, Gabe?
I have
on
not
Spotify?
actually, so
Ooh, we're gonna send you a playlist then.
I wanna.
Okay, do you have plans to make an album out of all these singles that you're releasing, or are you just doing song per song?
I think right now I'm just doing song per song. I believe in the art of an album where I love listening to albums where everything was kind of written cohesively. Like there's an overarching theme and there's like songs that kind of, or like filler songs that transition from one song into the next and the album tells a story.
Yeah.
And so I would love to create something like that. But I think since I'm still at a stage where I'm trying to grow my fan base, I'm just putting out singles and trying to keep it as like commercial as possible, where it has like the broad appeal as opposed to me letting every like artistic notion that I have be put into a cohesive album.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It makes a lot of sense. And I think that's a good idea too. I mean, I look forward to when you're able to release an album.
I know.
You know, keep listening. But so far, every song you've released has been amazing. And I love listening to them.
I appreciate that, man.
And I'm definitely going to send them to Gabe so that he can check them out for sure. Now,
well, Gabe, we'll hit you with the link.
Yeah. You need to send us a link so we can
USB or CD.
We're gonna post some
me?
links in the description. For those listening on Spotify, I'm pretty sure you could just search Michael Van Wagoner on Spotify and you'll be able to find him. And then so you just released a song not too long ago. What's it called?
It's called "I'm Done."
Oh wait, we still have a few minutes left though.
Wait,
no one. Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
You know what?
That took me a second.
You know what? I'm done. I'm the one that's done. Okay, so
I was like, my brain was buffering for a second. I was like, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so you just released it. Are you working on something else right now, or is this it for a bit?
So there's a couple of remixes of that I'm working on right now, and I have a couple demos that I'm like trying to flesh out. I am going to do an EP, probably like a 6-song EP, starting January next year.
Okay.
But until then, I have just a couple random singles that I want to put out in hopefully October and November.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And you have something going on real soon, right?
Yes. So I'm doing a big concert this Saturday in Provo. It's called the Beach Party Concert. So I'm gonna be playing with Suit Up Soldier and Rally, and it's gonna be awesome. There's gonna be like sliders, mixed sodas, gigantic beach balls, and it's just kind of like a beach party theme.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be debuting several of my songs, playing them for the first time live for an audience.
Wow.
So it's pretty exciting.
Now, you said that you used to be in other bands, right? Like, I'm pretty sure when I met you, we went to one of your concerts. You were playing with someone else, I think.
Yeah.
And
I've done...
is this your first time playing as yourself and not in another band?
Yeah, so I'll be performing as a solo artist. And this will be like the first time doing my own artist project, where I'm debuting this original music. I've only done like a couple shows where I've played some of my original music live.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be the first time that it's like basically back to back all of these singles that I've been putting out over the last year. I'll be hopefully shouting along with the audience.
Man, that's gonna be the adrenaline rush. It's gonna be awesome, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
Gabe, do you remember when you and I tried to be in a band? And we performed for 20 people?
Oh yeah, I do remember that. I was.
Or was it? Yeah, maybe 20,
It was
30
a talent
people.
show. It was like a.
Hey, that's a crowd.
It's a talent
I was
show
playing
for sure. It
drums.
was great.
I was drums, right? Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, you were drums and I was guitar and vocals.
That was fun.
That didn't take off. No, but Michael, that's super awesome. I'm super excited for you. I'm really excited for this concert. So this is happening on Saturday, right, in Provo?
Yep, Saturday. It's at 7 when like things really get going, but we're telling everybody to come at 6:30 because everyone shows up a half hour late to concerts.
Do you need
I
buy
show up-
tickets
yeah.
online
I
ahead
show
of
up late
time?
to everything, so.
Yeah, so basically 7 o'clock. I can send you guys a link that has I have like a link tree, and it has a link to like all of my music on Spotify, Apple Music, etc. And it's also got a place where you can get tickets for the show.
All right. Yeah, we'll put those links. We'll put the links in the description. So go check out Michael's music on Spotify. I'm sure he's got some videos as well on YouTube. I think you just released the video today, like an acoustic version of something, right?
Yeah, it's just a video of me playing one of my songs live.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I remember I saw something, but I wasn't able to watch it, but I will now. And
yeah, well, I only posted it like a few minutes before this podcast started.
Oh,
so.
Nice. All right, and so all the links will be down there. Gabe, do you have any more questions for Michael?
No, that's I'm just really excited for you. Feel like we should do a follow-up after your.
Oh,
this is gonna be your
think we
first
should
premiere
too.
for your song, right? So.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks everyone who joined us today. If you enjoyed the podcast, don't forget to leave a big thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. We post podcasts every single week. And you can always find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and whatever you listen to podcasts. We'll leave links in the description below as well. Thank you, Michael Van Wagoner, for joining us today, talking to us about some of your music writing and life experiences. And
yeah, of course. Thank you for having me on. Gato, it's always good to chat. And Gabe, it's so good to meet you, man.
Yeah, good meeting you too, man.
Alrighty. And we'll see you all next week. Peace.
See you.